Hi everyone. Today it's May 8th, 2025, uh, day plus 30 from transplant. Uh, doing a little different here today. It's instead of from my bed, which is right over there, I'm in my chair that's here. I thought it's a little earlier. It's about 7 p.m. and I was sitting in my chair here and I thought, well, why don't I do my little thing here tonight from my chair? Well, I'm up and that. Well, tell you about today. Uh, feel pretty good. I mean, I'm starting to feel like a human again. Uh, it's still needing at least one blood transfusion a day. It seems like I had one at like 5 o'clock this morning. But, they're doing my labs. They checked at noon again, and my hemoglobin was over 8. And for those who, for those of you that don't know, when your hemoglobin is below 7, that's when they say you need a transfusion. And my hemoglobin has not been over 8 since I've got here. It's my hemoglobin for the last year is averaged between, you know, high sixes to high sevens. Every once in a while I'll touch an 8, but it's when it gets below that 7 that's when they say you need a transfusion. So, uh, that's what I had. The reason I'm talking about that a little bit is because I had a meeting with my doctor today, and it's they want to get me out of the hospital here. I want to get out of the hospital, and there's a few things that are to hold up, and it's the one is the stomach issue, and that's uh, they have me on that uh, IV antibiotic, you know, through I think it's Saturday night or Sunday morning. So that's what they're saying. That's I could get out of here Sunday morning, which would be nice. Uh, or the other thing is what the doctor told me is they'd like to get that transfusion frequency, down a little bit, instead of 7 times a week, down to, possibly 5, which would be good. But, so we'll see how that goes. It's the same thing. Nobody knows where the blood goes, but anyway, so that's how it was. The other thing with my lab work, it's like I talked about, I've been talking about my white count, and the white count is, you know, got up to like 4.7 the other day. Uh, Once it gets over that 4, whatever, they discontinue that growth factor, and it slowly dropped down. It was, I think, 2.6 today, which the doctors are still fine with, and now it seems to like stabilized, I think. And now it will just slowly increase by itself, not with that growth factor, boost to give it that kick. I don't know why they do that, but just to get it going, I guess. So, so that's it for my counts. Other than that, today's been, I want to say, a very boring day. Not too much to do. It's as far as the bone marrow transplant, that seems to be on course, taking care of itself and moving in the right direction. It's just, this. stomach issue, and it's or GI issue, and on these antibiotics is the only thing I got going. They have me on some physical therapy. That's another thing they want me to improve my strength for when I get out of here. I've been working on that a lot, the last few weeks, and you know, think about it, how you'd feel if you laid in bed for, what is it, roughly 38 days here. It's how long I've been in here, so it's got to do something. And it's like working with these physical therapists. It's kind of interesting. They've talked about things that are kind of new to me, and one of them is they call it cancer fatigue. And I never heard of that term, but it's definitely a fatigue that is totally different than regular fatigue for cancer survivors, you know, from going through treatment, typically chemotherapy and radiation, what that does to your body. And yeah, I can tell, you know, the difference now that they've explained it to me. It's an interesting uh, type of fatigue. It's I get tired real easy. It's every day I take a shower. Uh, when when you're in the hospital here, it's a requirement you take a shower every day, and then you have to use these special, they call them CHG wipes. I don't know if I mentioned them before, but they're kind of like these sponges that you got to wipe your entire body down with after your shower, after your body's dry, because to prevent any type of infections on your skin. And it's but just these days taking a shower is I want to say takes all the energy you have. Just the part of undressing, washing yourself, drying yourself, wiping your body down with those CHG wipes, and dressing yourself. I crawl back into bed and I'll sleep for an hour and a half usually. I'm totally exhausted after that. Uh, it's just the physical therapists have exercises that they have you do, and they're very simple, basic exercises, and you do 30 repetitions of them, and you know, 5 different exercises of 30 different repetitions. You go, man, I'm worn out. So it's interesting how this, uh, they call it cancer fatigue is. Uh, Other than that, it's nothing very exciting today. It's just sitting here trying to waiting for the day I can get out of here. I'm hoping by Sunday or hoping Sunday. The doctor told me, another thing we got to factor in is the transfusion frequency. Uh, but I don't know if that's ever going to come down here for a while or not. We'll see. Uh, Maybe it will, and that will help. But I'd really like to get out of here at some point. uh, Other than that, I don't have too much left to talk about today. It's kind of nice doing it different here, sitting in the chair instead of in the bed, and a little earlier. You can tell by the window here. It's still daylight. Like I said, it's like 10 after 7 now, and it's a beautiful day. It looks like outside. I just can't wait to see what it's like outside. I actually heard it's like up around 80 degrees, so I'm going, wow, that'd be nice to be outside, so, but anyway, well, thank you everyone, and we'll talk to you soon. Goodbye.